How are we doing, folks? Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Jeff Hoagland, as you may or may not know, and I am coming at you from my hotel room here at SCG Con. We're currently snowed in, and I am recording some YouTube-only content with some decks from the deck queue that people said they were okay with me recording offline. My first time doing YouTube-only content in a while. If you find yourself liking these YouTube videos or disliking YouTube-only stuff, be sure to drop a comment below and let me know how you feel about it. Obviously, I'm doing it today out of necessity, but if it's something that people like as opposed to all live content, maybe I'll do a mix of the two, trying to get a feel for it. At any rate, we are streaming with some Amulet Titan, or recording with some Amulet Titan here this afternoon. This is an archetype that I've played a bunch of on stream in the past. I actually really like this archetype in general. I think it's very powerful and reasonable. I think if you're looking for a combo deck that also has a lot of grind against the fair interactive decks in Modern, this is a great choice. This deck tends to line up very well against decks like Blue-White and Jeskai Control, as well as the interactive decks like Mardu Pyromancer and Green-Black Rock. You have a lot of tools to get out of a lot of different jams, but it also gives you the ability to have your random turn 3 nut draws. So let's go ahead and dive into a match here. This list is a list that Daryl Ayers posted a 5-0, I believe, with in a Magic Online league, and I have swapped the 4th Abrade that he played in that league for a Hornet Queen in the sideboard. I think a lot of what's going on here, Edgar had added some Trinket Mages to the main deck of his Amulet Titan deck and said that he liked that. This is my first time personally playing with Trinket Mage, so I'm going to get a feel for that in this league, see if it's something I like or something I don't like, and we could talk about why and when it's useful and when it's not. One thing worth noting here is that a lot of these Amulet Titan decks have been playing one Reclamation Sage in the main deck, and this list is choosing to play in the sideboard. We have a Skyshroud Ranger here as well. Other things that differ in this list from the other lists I've played recently is that the last few times we've played this is that we've played copies of Adventurous Impulse. This list is foregoing that card. This list also doesn't have any copies of Explore in it. So, interested to see if those things come up. Trinket Mage adds a little bit of consistency, I would expect, to the archetype, but it's also not particularly fast, right? This hand isn't doing anything explosive, but I think it's in the realm of fine. I think I want to lead on Gemstone Mine here because I could Ancient Stirrings into an Amulet, which seems exciting. The flip side of that is that it allows them to take my Amulet via a discard spell, but I have another Amulet for later. You keep a lot of hands with this deck that just feel like they don't really do anything because you need a lot of lands to function, and the deck I think this build even has I think it's 29 lands in the main deck, if I recall. Whoop. That's Grixis Delver. Yeah, we have 29 lands in our main deck today. Basic Forest Pass deal. Hopefully, they mulligan to 5, so hopefully they're playing Ponza, or Bogles and not Ponza, sorry. Would really prefer not to get Ponza'd with my Amulet deck. If they are on Ponza, we will not be playing that match today. We'll be moving along with our lives. Is it a mirror match? I guess they could be Tron too. Tron is a deck that mulligans a lot, so they could realistically be a Tron deck. Let's go ahead and do this. Untap Amulet. Cast this Trinket Mage. And honestly, I don't have a lot going on here. I think I'm just going and getting my own Walking Ballista here. The second Amulet doesn't really accomplish anything at the moment. Yeah, so they could theoretically be the mirror. Tron tends to play more basic forest than Amulet Titan does, though, so more likely to be Tron. They could be something strange like Green Devotion as well. Remember that time I declined to get the second Amulet, and then we drew Primeval Titan, and the second Amulet would have been absurd? Pepperidge Farm remembers. So, I want to hold on to this Gruul Turf because that lets me play Titan next turn. Let's go ahead and cast this Walking Ballista here. Attack for 2. Hopefully, we get to, like, learn what our opponent's doing before I, like, kill them with this Primeval Titan next turn. I shoot my plant token here. You got him. He's dead, Jim. Every forest they play makes it less likely that they're playing Tron or Amulet, and more likely they're playing something like Green Devotion. Overgrown Tomb. Wild. Okay. Untap my thing. Float my mana. Pick up Khalni Garden. And then Primeval Titan comes into play, and it gets Slayers Stronghold plus Boros Garrison here, which are going to give old Titan Boy haste here. And Titan's going to go ahead and attack. And go and get some more lands. We'd get a Simic Growth Chamber plus a Tolaria West on the Titan attack, so that way we can, like, have a thing to transmute to get another Titan. I don't really know what our opponent's doing. They played Forests, Overgrown Tomb, and Walking Ballista of all things. There's probably a good chance that they have access to Damping Sphere. Like, this is a very common sideboard card in Modern. So I'm going to go ahead and hedge that a small bit and bring in Reclamation Sage and Abrade. Both of these cards are, like, fantastic because these are cards that have text boxes. Even if our opponent doesn't have something like Damping Sphere, doesn't draw their Damping Sphere. One of the things you often do in this deck is you trim some number of lands that aren't going to be relevant in the given matchup. So, like, my opponent likely doesn't have counter spells, and they likely don't have graveyard synergies, so I'm going to trim Bojuka Bog and Cavern of Souls. 26 to 27 lands is usually where you want to stay post-board. I'm going to go ahead and just trim a Trinket Mage here. Again, not 100% certain what the opponent's doing, so, like, less is more. That's one of the big upsides to playing a proactive deck like this in Modern, is, like, when you're like, well, I don't really know what our opponent's doing. You're like, that's fine. I'm just going to, like, not sideboard a whole lot and, like, keep our proactive game plan in. So, like, rather than trying to answer what they're doing, we can just, like, run them out of the game. Arbor Elf. They might be... So there was a green-black Ponza deck that went around for a hot second that might be what the opponent is playing. It's playing, like, Reign of Tears and stuff like that. They could also be, like, green splash black Devotion. Arbor Elf's a card that sees playing that a lot, too. They're playing Cavern of Souls. Okay. Interesting. Naming Ooze. Sure. The Scavenging Ooze, or they have, like, Necrotic Ooze in their deck? Sure. Yep. Yeah, they might just be a Devotion with a splash. Alright, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and Abrade this elf here. They don't appear to have a lot going on, and, like, I drew another Abrade. It's just, like, slowing down their mana development sounds appealing. I also, like, kind of want to play a card before I play this Gruul Turf, so that way I don't have to move to hand size with it. Yep. Are they not have another land? That's really good for us. We're going to breed the crap out of this Tireless Wrecker. Yeah, we are. Alright, deal. Then I'm actually going to go ahead and play the Vesuva here as a copy of Khalni Garden. And the reason why I'm doing that is, on the off chance they are a Stone Rain deck, they could potentially be still. I would prefer to not play a bounce land and then get basically Stone Rained off of 2 land drops, whereas this way, I play my 3rd land, and then next turn I can play Azusa, play Gruul Turf, pick my Vesuva up, and then, like, replay Vesuva as a second Gruul Turf. Look at that. They are, in fact, the Stone Rain deck. Masterfully played around. So really, we'd like to draw an untapped land here, so that way we can get this Gruul Turf going off of the Azusa. Like, obviously, if I miss on drawing an untapped land, we're going to play the Gruul Turf and, like, hope to dodge another Acid Moss, but... Ooh, a piece of candy. So, I'm actually going to go ahead and... What's best sequence here? So after I play this Azusa, I'm going to have 2 land drops. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and play... I'm going to go ahead and Gruul Turf and pick back up the Vesuva. And then I'm going to play the Azusa. And then I'm going to play the Vesuva copying the Gruul Turf and pick my actual Gruul Turf back up. And the reason for this is this way next turn, even if they Stone Rain me again here, just by having this Gruul Turf in my hand with the Summoner's Pact, I'm going to get to Primeval Titan them. So, like, they need to kill Azusa or the Amulet of Vigor to not get Primeval Titan next turn. A Stone Rain is simply not good enough, so Acid Moss away, opponent. You're still getting a Primeval Titan shoved down your throat. And this Dismember, actually, I need to rephrase there, because just killing that, they need a Stone Rain 2 here, which they don't appear to have. So, Azusa plus this Gruul Turf means I get to Titan them next turn still, which is ideal. So I have 3 mana in play here, which was the upside of replaying the Vesuva as the Gruul Turf. They only have 2 cards left, so they could just have Stone nothing here. If they have another Dismember, they can kill my Azusa in response to the triggers, so like denying me the mana, but ideally we're just going to put a Titan into play here and make them incredibly sad. They look to be auto-passing, which bodes well for our hero. So again, Azusa... plus this Amulet, plus this Bounce Land, just, like, lets us, like, make a 2-mana ritual here a bunch of times, ideally. Just, like, do this, and then bounce this to my hand, and then play my 3rd land for the turn. This is gonna untap. Do I want to have this end up in my hand? No, I don't think so. I'm going to pick the Khalni Garden back up. I'm going to go in Summoner's Pact. And then when I attack with this Primeval Titan here, I just want to make sure I get copious amounts of green mana, so that way I don't die to the Summoner's Pact through a Stone Rain here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab Boros Garrison plus Slayers Stronghold here. And opponent concedes. Alright, nice Stone Rain deck. Nice deck full of land destruction spells against my big mana combo deck. So I think, like, traditional Ponza is a really rancid matchup for this deck, because, like, obviously they have Blood Moons and 3 mana Stone Rains, but 4 mana and 5 mana Stone Rains just, like, not fast enough unless you have a bunch of ramps. So the fact that we abraded the opponent's Arbor Elf on turn 2 that second game ended up being incredibly relevant. We, like, put them behind a turn since they missed their 4th land drop, and then by that time with the Amulet draw plus the Azusa and the Bounce Land, just, like, able to get under whatever they were trying to be doing there. Yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite archetypes in Modern right now. Honestly, if it didn't involve so much shuffling, I probably would have been practicing this deck more to play in paper, but there's just so much shuffling with the deck, it gets kind of tedious. So if you're not into shuffling a bunch, this is not the deck for you, but otherwise it's a very reasonable choice. If you're, like, looking for a combo deck in Modern that's not incredibly linear, like, obviously we have linear draws that are busted, but this deck has a lot of, like, micro decisions in it, which makes it a pretty great choice, I think, for a lot of people. Well, that's a fantastic draw. I'm going to lead on Gruul Turf here, I think. Would much rather something happen to this land than the other ones. This is game 1, though, so, like, hopefully our opponent is not a monster and nothing's going to happen to our lands. Turn 1, Dark Slick Shores. Could be some kind of Delver deck, could be Lantern, could be Ad Nauseam. The most common Dark Slick Shores deck could just be some kind of Tezzerator. Could be Blue-Black Fairies with River of Tears there. Amulet of Vigor, you say? So, the thing that you want to note about your Azusa is that your opponent cannot respond to your land drops, unless, of course, your lands generate a trigger. So you always want to play your lands that don't have a trigger first, so that way you get to play all your lands before your opponent has a chance to kill your Azusa here. So by playing the Tolaria West before the Simic Growth Chamber, my opponent can't respond to either of these, and I get my 2 extra land drops in. Whereas if I would have played the Growth Chamber first, my opponent could have killed this in response, denying me my 3rd land drop for the turn. I probably should pick the Forest back up there. It likely doesn't matter. Snapcaster Mage. I like this play from the opponent. The opponent is recognizing the fact that they need to be the beatdown here. And they can't just, like, sit around because I'm going to power through their stuff. I feel like they don't have a 2-mana counterspell, though. Because I think if they had a 2-mana counterspell, they would have jammed it. They would have jammed it on the Azusa to prevent me from ramping up here. So, like, I could be conservative and, like, play slow and, like, plan to like, search up Cavern of Souls. Being dismembered? Sure. So this game against an interactive mid-range deck like the opponent's playing is going to highlight some of the other power of this deck compared to the first batch, which is mostly a linear deck. This deck's really good because your first Primeval Titan just, like, goes and gets more Primeval Titans effectively. It's also going to go get Cavern of Souls in this case, which is just A+. So I'm going to grab Simic, Growth Chamber, and Cavern of Souls here. And then normally your Titan can go get, like, Tolaria West with a bounce land to, like, pick your Tolaria West up to, like, get Summoner's Pact to get more Titans. But I already have a Titan and a Tolaria West here, so, like, I'd rather just prioritize getting Cavern of Souls to, like, make sure my big baddies are going to slam into play. Opponent just gives up. It's a good play. I like that. I like the give up play there. Good solid line for us. This is definitely a matchup for Ruric, Thar, and Hornet Queen. Is this an engineered explosives matchup? They certainly have Bitter Blossom. I don't know if they have enough stuff that need, like, fast access to engineered explosives. And, like, I have the one in the main deck, and I have, like, ways to tutor for it, so I don't think I need that. Again, you generally want to think about, like, okay, these are my utility lands. What utility lands do I or don't I need this matchup? So the opponent has Snapcaster Mage, but, like, Bojuka Bog's probably not stellar on average. Obviously, Cavern of Souls is going to be very good against deck that likely has things like Cryptic Command or Remand or Mana Leak in it, so I'm going to leave that in my deck. I need one more cut here. I still have 28 lands. I feel like I'm supposed to trim another lands here. Khalni Garden's probably pretty medium. We're not blocking very often. It's potentially reasonable against Liliana the Veil, but not all of the opponent's decks play Liliana the Veil, so like 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. This hand's, like, really good with a couple of bounce lands, so I'm going to keep this. Like we have Demonic Tutor here in our hand to, like, find whatever land we want. All right. I assume they are taking Ancient Stirrings here, so hopefully we just, like, rip a bunch of lands off the top in a row. If they have another discard spell, they might just, like, take both our amulets away. Oh yeah, I like taking Ancient Stirrings there. I think that's a good line. Lead on Tribe Scout, and then hopefully just draw a bunch of lands in a row here. You have a Bitter Blossom opponent. Trinket Mage, yep. So they need to hope we brick on a Keru for a turn or two here. For those that are newer to Modern or Magic in general, Kerus are what we refer to the bounce lands as. That's what I'm referring to when I use that vernacular. So Keru is a land from, I believe it's Mirage, that bounced. It was a double land that bounced a land back to your hand. So, like, it was like the original templating for it. Gosh, if we'd have drawn a green bounce land there, we actually would have killed them with that tap out for cast down. The tap out for cast down seems incredibly bad because, like, I have Titan mana with one bounce land anyway, so, like, the Tribe Scout's really not accomplishing anything. Whereas, like, if they just hold the cast down up there, they'd be able to, like, kill a Titan, so I can't kill them that turn. And this is, unfortunately how the cookie crumbles sometimes. It's fine. We are up a game, right? They aren't playing anything out of their hand, and they're not attacking with Creeping Tar Pit, so they're probably like a giant fistful of Cryptic Commands in their hand at the moment. They're actually only one more Bitter Blossom token away here from being able to Spell Stutter Sprite a Primeval Titan, which is pretty funny. The Tolaria West isn't nothing. The Tolaria West means that, like, this Hornet Queen is castable in a hot second. Sprite me, baby. It feels like a win for me, since it's going to be able to counter Titans here in a second anyways. Come at me. Down to 13. This is my hand. My hand is amazing. If we draw a bounce land this turn, we could potentially be in the game because I'll need double counterspell. Unfortunately, third Amulet of Vigor is not going to do much for us. It's like, no way anything's resolving. I think we definitely needed like a chance to do two there. I don't think this is a Reclamation Sage matchup. Yeah, I'm just going to click this a bit. And the matches where Bitter Blossom is relevant, like, we're losing for other reasons generally, I think. Sand seems great. I think I want to lead on Tribe Scout here. I think just getting more lands faster is better than, like, having the Amulet in play if they have turn 1 discard spell. Yep. Oh, Magic's a great game. Good old-fashioned Inquisition bug. I almost have them dead here. Not quite. I think I'm actually supposed to return this one to my hand, right? Yeah, because now with this being played as the second one, my land drops make this Simic Growth Chamber is basically use your land drop, make 4 mana, which is like very powerful, obviously. You don't want to tap out for a copy of Bitter Blossom there, opponent. It's unfortunate. So because I drew this Gruul Turf, I'm actually going to go ahead and pick the pick that one back up. That is incredibly rude. My favorite Magic the Gathering card has betrayed me. We've been sprited. Seize my thoughts, baby. Seize my thoughts. We'll Tribe Scout, put Grove of the Burnwillows into play here at end of turn. We'll untap, we'll draw Primeval Titan, we'll kill them. Everything will be great. Modern's wonderful. Pick this Gemstone Mine back up. This is the turn they needed to fade. If they have a Cryptic Command here, like some counter spells, we could actually be en route to losing this game. I'd rather put this Gemstone Mine into play off of the Sakura-Tribe Scout rather than silly opponent. Spells are for good players, not me. Yay! 1/1! Yay! Meaning Abrade. They think they thought better of it. Cometh at me, Spellstutter Sprite. But I'm checking out some of their options here. They bottomed. That bodes well for our hero. Mutavault locks out our powerful Sakura-Tribe Scout army on the ground. So this actually leaves our opponent the ability to die this turn, because the Growth Chamber plus the double Tribe Scout actually mean I have, and the double Amulet actually mean I can make 12 mana. So if we draw a Titan here, we could kill them. Do I want to use Engineered Explosives here? I could theoretically put it on 4 and kill this Mistbind click. I feel like that's probably worthwhile. Now, I guess to be able to do that, I have to end up with not a bounce land in my hand, which isn't really something I want. Yeah, actually, that's just it's just a mistake. It's unfortunate. We had a couple of windows here to slip in through. I'm so dumb. They have a just went to a different place. Obviously, that attack was bad. We had a couple of chances to slip Titans in through what they were doing here, but I feel like we've missed our window. That being said, like, they've been so aggressive with this Mistbind click, like, there's a chance that, like, they just don't have Disruption in their hand. So, needed this last turn. I get Sprayded now and die. Wow! The lines. Alright, so they're gonna champion their Mistbind click to get their Sprite back to Sprite the Pact, the Summoner's Pact. Gosh, their deck is just so much sweeter than ours. Fairies is like the deck that just like always feels so close, and I love the cards that are in it. So like now I have to chump block Mutavault. No, I don't. So this is 5. I was say if they attack with everything, I was thinking it's 11, but it's actually only 10, right? It'd be 5 and 5. All right, I would like a Primeval Titan for Christmas. That is a land, so we're dead. And that just happens sometimes, right? Like, our deck is almost 50% land. It's going to be plenty of games where you're just like, well, I really hope we draw a spell, and then, like, there's no spells in sight. Ooh. I don't know how I feel about the specifics of this build so far. I'm like, so the Trinket Mage seems interesting, but I'm kind of, like, struggling to find, like, one of the things we always talk about when we're building decks on stream is, like, what problem are we solving by making changes to the archetype? And I guess I'm kind of struggling a little bit to identify what matchup was hard or what problem this archetype had that Trinket Mage is really solving. Because while it obviously gives us redundancy for the Amulets of Vigor, it doesn't get us Amulets of Vigor quickly, right? So, like, it's not helpful in the matches where we're racing. So, like, it's useful in matches where, like, we want to find Walking Ballista and Engineered Explosives, but, like, it also doesn't do that particularly quickly, right? And, like, the matches where we, like, want redundant copies of the cards, we probably want them sooner rather than later. This hand's, like, really good with a green bounce land, and, like, aggressively mediocre without one. I'm on the play. I don't think I can keep this on the play, unfortunately. Ugh. the classic two-lander that can't make mana. I I guess I could play Vesuva on 1 and then Growth Chamber it back on 2. Because, like, the 4 spells in this hand are, like, really good. And I'm going to keep a Gruul Turf on top of my deck here. Yeah, I'm actually just going to, like, keep this and, like, play Vesuva as Vesuva. This is my Vesuva. It does nothing currently. Cinderglade. Okay, so a bit of a race here. Cinderglade, for those not familiar, indicates that my opponent's likely playing red-green Valakut Titan. Could be like a Bring to Light Valakut deck as well, I suppose, but likely red-green Valakut Titan, which means they don't have any interaction for us. And like many matches in Modern, we're just like gonna like do our thing on our side of the board, and one of us will raise our hand when we're done, and whoever raises their hand first wins. Yeah, confirmed red-green almost. I guess, it could theoretically be a Bring to Light deck, but Bring to Light's not super popular. So any order on these. I get to put Amulet of Vigor into play here, and then I can play Vesuva as a copy of Cinderglade, and Amulet's going to untap it, which then lets me Ancient Stirrings again this turn, which actually means that this Ancient Stirrings hits another Amulet. We can Titan them next turn. It did not. So we get a draw step for another Amulet. One of our kind of slower, more mopey hands. Like, that was our 3rd turn. So, like, there's a lot of decks in Modern that we'd just be dead at this point, right? Yep. Thankfully, the opponent's is not one of them. We're going to get a 4th turn and hopefully a 5th turn as well. One of the nice things about this deck is our deck doesn't do damage to itself with its mana base. So that means our opponent does need an extra land if they are interested in killing us with the Cardscape Shift. I'm going to go ahead and play the Yavimaya Coast. My opponent knows about that card. If they play a Titan next turn, and then we Titan on our turn, I think we lose. Farseek is good for us here. We're actually going to end up in a pretty okay spot here, because the way things are going to line up is that I get to, make some green mana here, and I get to play this out. And then my Titan's going to get to attack them, but my Titan's also going to end up with us getting to transmute this Tolaria West. I'm going to transmute this Tolaria West into a copy of Pact of Negation that we conveniently have in our main deck. So we get Slayers Stronghold and Boros Garrison here to enable a Angry Hasty Titan. So do this. And this line, so if we didn't already have the Tolaria West in our hand, I wouldn't be able to attack this turn, because I wouldn't be able to have the blue mana to transmute the Tolaria West. I'd have to pick it back up. But because I already have it, I get to go ahead and do this plus this. And then obviously we're not returning the Tolaria West to our hand. And the reason for this is I want to be able to transmute this turn. If I pick this up, I wouldn't have 3 mana to transmute. One thing I guess I didn't mention this turn that someone might mention in the comments is that obviously I could have played Azusa this turn potentially to like get more stuff going on, but like the downside of them killing the Azusa with like a lightning bolt is pretty high, so I'd rather just like be a little bit conservative, I think. So while this Pact of Negation is like great for preventing us from dying this turn, it is worth noting that my opponent like has 2 Valakuts and 6 mountains, so just like they like play a mountain and kill my Primeval Titan here, which kind of sucks. And then, like, obviously I have to Pact of Negation this because 8 lands, this is lethal. And, like, this Pact of Negation means that I'm probably not able to Titan them this turn, right? I guess I haven't actually counted. So, Pact pays with these. And then I Growth Chamber. Pick up this Tolaria West. I can do this, leaving a green floating. Alright, so I have 2 land drops. So I do this, untap this. Opponents conceding. Really? Okay, that seems like a weird concession. Because, like, I don't think I have... I'm pretty sure I don't have them dead this turn because, like, Vesuva and Slayers Stronghold out. So, like, I can put the Stronghold into play, and then I have... No, even that... I'm not even sure I could attack with the Titan this turn. I think that was a pretty bad concession on my opponent's part there. Unless I'm, like... Unless they're understanding something that I'm not sure that I get that concession. Is this a matchup where I bring in the Ramunap Excavator... So that way I can, like, turbo Ghost Quarter them out of the game? I think that might be the case, actually. Engineered Explosives and Walking Ballista don't accomplish a whole lot. Do I just bring in a Spell Pierce, just, like, pierce the early crap? Excuse me, I think so. Bojuka Bog's pretty bad. Like, this card's not amazing, obviously. It doesn't counter Titan, and it's never going to counter Escape Shift that's relevant. But, like piercing a Farseek or a Search for Tomorrow could potentially be okay, I guess. No gamble, no future. This hand is, like, absurd with a green bounce land. Even just, like, a regular green source is fine, which I'm sure means, like, I'm gonna brick off and die and, like, never play Magic, but I don't mind keeping speculative hands like this, especially, like, when I'm on the draw in a matchup that's a race. Like, if this hand hits the green bounce land, like, we can race. So I think it's worth taking the risk. The payoff, that why would you interact with me, opponent? That's not what this format's about. That's incredibly rude. And that's one of the things you want to consider when you potentially keep a speculative hand like this. The question you want to ask yourself is, like, what are the odds I win the game if the speculation I'm having with this hand hits? And, like, I think the odds of winning the game with this hand, should we hit the green bounce land, are, like, incredibly high, which makes it a worthwhile gamble in my opinion. Now, hitting the green bounce land on turn 3 as opposed to by turn 2, and especially if we lose our amulet, we might not be a lock anymore, but I think I'm okay keeping this hand. Yep. Tomato, we'll find ya. Tomato, do. This is my Azusa. My Azusa costs 3 mana. Am I dead yet? The important moment that every modern player must ask their opponent on occasion. Am I dead? Have I died this turn? Titan is, like, effectively GG. I just, like, don't have any outs, so we're gonna go ahead and concede to that one if they stick it into play here. Hey, look, it's a Titan. Onward, upward, backward, forward, and away we go. I would love to play first. Thank you for asking. This hand needs a bounce land, but is otherwise very reasonable. Put up mulligan to 6 again, likely looking for some of their disruption. The opponent's deck is less explosive than ours, but they're probably a little bit more consistent as far as faster combo kills go. Like a turn, like if they keep our amulets off the table, like their turn like 4, 5, 6 win percentage is probably a little bit higher than our turn 4, 5, 6 win percentage. But obviously that's just going off my gut. I don't have hard data to back that up. I mean, how good would this Trinket Mage be if like Tree of Tales was legal? If I could just like Trinket Mage for an artifact land in situations like this. Alright, I mean, that's a Boros Garrison, so like, this Trinket Mage is going to get our second Amulet here, and then next turn we will play Amulet off of Ghost Quarter, and then jam Boros Garrison to make 4 mana, and jam Primeval Titan down their throat. We're going to attack with the Plantier to send a message. Like, let him know how this plant feels about him. It's like, this is what's up. Double Tribe Scout. So this puts them to 6 lands, and they play 7th land for the turn next turn, so it could be dead. Amulet of Vigor. Boros Garrison. So I get Primeval Titan here, and double Amulet means I can double Titan this turn. Let me count just to make sure that that's the case. So Growth Chamber makes 4, Tolaria West makes 6. So no, that's not true. Right, that is incorrect. I guess with the Azusa, I could probably double Titan this turn. Yeah, Azusa means I could double Titan, right? Because the Azusa makes 8 mana and costs 3. So like this, I'm gonna get Tolaria West and Simic Growth Chamber, and then these make a total of 6 mana between them. So we float, we float, we float. Pick up Tolaria West. Oh, I have to pick up Simic Growth Chamber first, right? Because I need a bounce land in my hand. Almost messed that up. So now I play Azusa, who gives me 2 more land drops. So now I have 8, 9, 10, 11 mana, which means I can transmute for another Titan. The redundancy from the Trinket Mage was very good here. It's the reason why we're winning this game. Yeah, so this is going to make 4 mana, and then we'll pick itself back up, and then it'll make 4 more mana, pick up the Tolaria West. We'll transmute the Tolaria West I actually have the Summoner's Pact in my hand even here, too, so I don't even need to do that. Yeah, I just like... The world is kind of our oyster here. I have a lot of roads that are leading towards Rome, and I'm sure someone's going to comment that I already had the Pact in my hand. I was thinking that I needed to transmute, but even if we needed to transmute, if I didn't have this Pact in my hand, I would be able to here because of the Azusa and the double Amulet. And that's, if you're looking for what we also often describe as like field smart or big brain style decks, this definitely constitutes one of those, right? There's lots of like little interactions like that where a ton of different lines you could take in a turn. Not always do all of them lead to a victory position like they did there, but gives you some ability to have a lot of little choices that add up. This is a toolbox deck with toolboxes for its toolboxes, like your Primeval Titan finds your Tolaria West, which finds your Summoner's Pact, which finds more Primeval Titans. You have Trinket Mage to find Amulets of Vigor. So like your toolboxes all kind of interlace nicely with each other and are just giving you good outs in different situations. I mean, your Bojuka Bogs and your Ghost Quarters. If you hate losing to Dredge, this is an excellent deck to be playing. Dredge is a very good matchup for this deck, because not only do you have Bojuka Bog in your main deck, and lots of ways to find said Bojuka Bog, but you don't just Bojuka Bog them once. You Bojuka Bog them, and then you Bojuka Bog them again, and you Bojuka Bog them again, and while you're disrupting them, this deck also has a pretty quick clock, just by the virtue of, like, Primeval Titaning them, which is great. Remember, if you are enjoying this YouTube video, be sure to hit that like button, ring that bell, and leave a comment down below. I'm interested in feedback on if you like YouTube-only content like this, if you prefer the live stream. Like I said, I'm doing this today because it's my only option if I want to make content for today, but if people like some YouTube-only stuff, I might make a point to do it on occasion. It's kind of nice to be able to, like, basically make content for, like, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours, as opposed to committing to a longer stream, so if there is some desire or appeal to YouTube-only content, I might make a point to, like, fit some in here and there, because I would have time to fit it in when I wouldn't normally have time to fire up for an entire stream. Lost the die roll here, so 2-1 heading into our fourth match with Amulet Titan. I am, like, incredibly bad at drawing bounce lands so far today, but I'm going to keep being greedy and keeping. Storm's a tough matchup for this deck game one. Alright, it's like an extra actual land at least. Even if it is not a bounce land. The problem with these Gemstone Mines is that, like, obviously their utility is numbered, right? Like, you get 3 uses and then they're dead and gone. But I'm probably going to check out their options here. Yep. Got ourselves some pirate ops here. Where do you stand on the opt artwork? Do you like pirate ops, or do you prefer the Teferi ops? Probably Storm. Yeah, we might not get a turn 3 here. Well, those continue to be lands, I suppose. And this hand is kind of a good example. We were talking about, like, differences in this build versus others. This hand's kind of a good example of, like, what if, like, imagine if this Trinket Mage was, like, a copy of Adventurous Impulse, right? Like, both these cards add consistency, but in kind of different ways. Like, Adventurous Impulse gives us redundancy in finding Primeval Titans and bounce lands, whereas Trinket Mage gives us additional redundancy for our copies of Amulet of Vigor. And I really liked the Adventurous Impulse builds of Titan that we had played the last few times. For people that enjoy mental shortcuts like myself, the way to know you are dead to Storm is that if your opponent casts Gifts Ungiven with a Mana Dork in play and triple red floating, you are deterministically dead. They're going to get Ritual, Manamorphose, Past in Flames, which guarantees that they're going to be able to flashback Past in Flames and, like, do all their stuff again and kill you. So this is exactly what I said there. They have 3 plus Gifts plus Morale. I'll let them show that they're going to get the Ritual, Manamorphose, Past in Flames here, but then we'll pack it in. Pack it up. Pack it in. Let me begin. I think this is a matchup where I'm going to board out the Trinket Mage package because it's a little bit slow. They probably have the Past in Flames in their hand. They're just, like, getting extra mana because they have the Past in Flames already. Fair. So Abrades and Spell Pierces and Tormod's Crypts. I don't think this is an explosive matchup, at least not one where I want multiple. Trinket Mage can come out here. Pact of Negation. Whenever I'm supposed to leave Pact of Negation in my deck, I feel like that could go either way. I'm not really sure. Ghost Quarter and Radiant Fountain definitely come out. Definitely want the Pierces and the Abrades. if I get to a point where Pact of Negation is relevant because I have 5 mana to pay for it, am I winning the game anyways? Probably. Like, Pact of Negation isn't a card that, like, helps me not die, right? I'm going to trim the Skyshroud Ranger and the Pact of Negation here, too. Let's see how... Oh, Ruric Thar. Why isn't Ruric Thar in my deck? Please, please get in my deck, Mr. Ruric Thar. I'm going to trim an Azusa. Tapping out for her is a little scary against the deck as fast as the opponents. Honestly, I wonder if the Ranger that I boarded out is better than Azusa. Snake, a snake, oh, it's a snake. Don't be afraid to put your caverns on silly things, just to like, because you're gonna get to bounce them with your bounce lands. So bounce them with the bounce lands, and like this hand is like setting up to like do stuff like kind of quickly. But again, like my opponent just like kills me on 3. There's not a whole lot I could do. But like this hand's not like bad to the point where I can justify mulliganing it. I don't think. It's unfortunate that I didn't have 2 untapped lands here, because if I had 2 untapped lands, obviously I could go untapped land, Tribe Scout, put in an untapped land, play Azusa, play a bunch of bounce lands, but without having a 3rd untapped land, that's just not an option. Yep. Yeah. Like I said, the real appeal in this deck isn't that you can race other linear decks. It's that, honestly, the appeal in this deck is very, well, that changes, does that change anything? What is that? What does that? It definitely changes things. What does it change? That means I can Titan them this turn, right? Is that a good one? I think that's a good one. I guess this is a situation where if I had Pact, no, I still wouldn't be able to hold up the Pact, right? I don't think. And so, if you followed my stuff before, you'll know we've dorked around with a version of Amulet that actually plays Spinerock with the goal of sliding Emrakul underneath it. So that way the turn you combo, you actually kill the opponent. And this game is a good example of why not actually killing your opponent the turn you combo is like a pretty big drawback, right? Like, I did my thing. I put Primeval Titan into play on turn 3 here, and I'm attacking with it. The problem is that, like, my opponent's deck doesn't use its health total as a resource here, and I don't have any lands that do anything meaningful that I can search up here to, like, disrupt or delay my opponent. So they are basically going to get hit and be dead on board, but they do just get the chance to, like, kill me on their turn 3 here. Whereas, like, if I had Spinerock in my deck, I would potentially be able to, like, put Emrakul into play this turn and, like, attack them with it. Yeah, I guess we're technically attacking them the turn after, but still, you get the gist of it. They wouldn't be getting a 3rd turn. Huh. You know what? Did I have a sequence here? I need to go back and check the tape, but I'll bet I had a sequence here with this Azusa in my hand that I could have ended up with Bojuka Bog in my hand and Sakura-Tribe Scout untapped with the ability to put it into play. I have to go back and count. I might be 1 short, but I think there's a chance that if I'd have sequenced this better, I could have ended up in that situation, which obviously would have been very good, right? And there's a way we could have basically searched up interaction. You can go back and check. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're good at Amulet math and you want to go back and like look before I started the turn to count and see if that was a line I had available to me, I'm actually not sure offhand without going back and counting. Obviously, I can't do that in the middle of a match, but I think I might have had that option available to me. And this is the part where I hope to not die. So Kill me? Again, that magic turning point is Gifts Ungiven on the stack, 3 red mana in their pool, Boreal in play. So this is not a lethal Gifts Ungiven guaranteed. Depending on what else is in their hand, they could potentially not have lethal here. So we're not going to concede. Again, they only have 1 red plus an island plus nothing else potentially. So depending on what they get here, we're not deterministically dead. Because we do have this Primeval Titan in play, like, the onus is on my opponent to, like, kill us this turn, so they could be going for it in a situation where they're not guaranteed to have it. I want to just go ahead and bin my opponent's extra mana there to potentially cut them off of being able to play. Alright, so now we're dead. They had the ritual in their hand. Yeah, so we're going to cast Passive Flames, do a bunch of stuff, and kill us. Shouldn't have given our opponent a third turn, obviously. Obviously, the issue is giving them the third turn. This is how it goes. 2 and 2. See if we can hit the 3-2 and be a real modern deck. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about these Trinket Mages. I really, like, Adventurous Impulse had really been kind of growing on me as, like, another, like, Ancient Stirrings, like, extra consistency type card, so. Alright. Out of the frying pan and into the fryer for the last one here. This, the classic one-lander Ancient Stirrings, but we can't actually keep it because it's a Karu. This deck has an issue that's similar to Legacy Elves a little bit, which is that because it plays all these bounce lands, this deck simultaneously feels like it doesn't have enough lands and feels like it has too many lands at the same time. And, like, Gaia's Cradle does that to the Elves deck because, like, it's a land that, like, can't be your only land, but, like, it takes up a land slot. So, like, it causes you to flood, but it also causes you to, like, have to mulligan because you basically don't have lands in your hand. I'm gonna go ahead and bottom that extra land there. Just, like, looking for amulets or Karus or stuff like that. Oh, gosh, we're playing the Mirror. Well, that's exciting. Or is it? Their Skyshroud Ranger is way cooler than ours. What is this from? This is from Tempest. Look at that. Just as you see the grave and remember the friend, I see this forest and remember Llanowar. That was actually a quote from Miri, who is a cat. So probably a bad character to do a deep voice for while reading. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I wonder, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a 74 card beer match. They're just like playing Air 75 like we are. And I say 74 card because we swapped an Abrade for something else, obviously. Gruul Turf's actually pretty good here, huh? So I think I'm actually going to go ahead and go Coast into Stronghold into Pact for Azusa, play Azusa, ramp up here. So, like, get our ramp on and hope we have a turn 3 here. I guess I have to hope to get to turn 4, huh? Because I want to pay for a pack next turn. Yeah, maybe this is wrong. Or maybe I'm supposed to do this, but, like, leave Gruul Turf in my hand so I could draw Amulet and kill them with Amulet next turn. Putting the Gruul Turf into play, like, also exposes it to this Ghost Quarter on the other side of the table, which is, like, probably less than ideal. Yeah, I think the Azusa was right, but I'm supposed to leave the Gruul Turf in my hand and just, like, have Sunhome in play right now. I guess if I do that, though, the Gemstone Mine is on 1, which means when I pay for my pact, it dies, which is not ideal for me. I guess it's all kind of bad for it. So you guys just have to hope, like, they don't have a Titan here. They found an amulet. I guess they could not have a bounce land too, so like need to fade amulet or sorry, Titan or bounce land. Green bounce land explicitly. We like kind of want to be ghost quartered to a degree. Because like if they're ghost quartering us, that means they probably don't have anything else going on. Yep, sweet. Like I said, this doesn't feel good, but it means good things for us. It means they're just trying to slow us down because they don't have anything relevant to be doing. So we'll pay for this Summoner's Pact, and then we just need to draw either any land this turn or an untapped land explicitly the following turn to be able to Titan them. That's a Trinket Mage. Not blocking with that one. Am I okay trading here? Yeah, I have an Azusa. I'm okay trading these. Roar. Roar. Let's get frisky. Let's get them. Now, it is possible for them to have a bounce land here that they're just like holding since they have an amulet in play. So they could just be waiting on a Titan. We draw untapped land here. We get to play Titan of our own. Even a tapped land is good enough, actually, right? Like a Keru. A Keru would be fine. A generic tapped land is not good, but a bounce land would be fine. That is a copy of Amulet of Vigor. I guess I'm just like putting 2 amulets into play here, huh? Or am I getting engineered explosives? How do we feel about EE here since I have an amulet in my hand? I probably can't lose if I like do this next turn. I'm actually just gonna go ahead and pass here. Like they need to do their thing this turn or next turn. Even if I miss a land, I just go like engineer explosives on 1, blow it up. So like put them in a very bad spot. It's like we're just waiting on a 5th land or a 6th mana here, whereas they obviously like need a couple of things. Do I want to trade my Trinket Mage? I think so. Yeah, Tradesies. Tradesies is good. I accept your offer on Tradesies. Alright, there's my bounce land. So I just want to Titan them this turn, right? Never not Titan. Because I can, with the amulet, I can Titan and engineer explosive this turn most likely. I'm like, obviously, if I explosives after playing my own amulet, I'm going to lose my amulet. But, like, if I have a Titan in play and, like, they have 3 lands and nothing else, like, we're ahead in a very big way, right? Oh. Crap. Probably doesn't matter, but I definitely should have floated mana and put this back in my hand. Definitely didn't matter. Abrade seems good here. Having redundancy for my amulet seems good. Bojuka Bog seems medium. Radiant Fountain seems medium as my 2 land cuts. Got one more trim here. Walking Ballista doesn't seem like it accomplishes a whole lot. Give this a go. Obviously, if we win this match, we're the greatest Amulet Titan player on Magic Online. Won the heads up. Alright, Magic first. Do your broth first. Put mulligan to 6. Our hand is... It's fine. It's, like, not amazing, but it's fine. If they have an amulet on 1, I get to play Engineer Explosives for 1-on-1, which, like, sign me up. Honestly, I might play Explosives for 1-on-1 regardless here. Just because I want to play this bounce land on 2. And if I play the bounce land on 2 the way my hand is at the moment, I'd have to move to hand size. And I don't have an amulet in sight. Let's go ahead and do this. It's possible, like, playing it out proactively like this gives my opponent too much information, like, scares them out of playing their amulet, but, again, I just, like, want to kind of play my cards. I don't want to discard. They're all pretty reasonable. Yep. So to go ahead and play our Simic Growth Chamber here and pick our Forest back up. And then next turn, we, like, play Azusa and play a bunch of lands. And the following turn, we play a Primeval Titan. And hopefully our opponent's deck just doesn't do anything and we win the game. Oh, you know what? This was a mistake on my part. I was probably supposed to play the Gruul Turf this turn, so I have the option to Abrade something next turn. There's, like, no guarantee that, like, Abrading would be better than playing Azusa regardless of what they do. But, like, I removed an option from myself that I didn't have to remove. This actually bodes well for us because while they are going to get to Azusa and ramp up themselves here, this means they're going to have to pay for Pact next turn, which is, like, fine. And, like, we're not going to have to pay for a Pact, which means we probably get to Titan before they do. So, like, their turn 4 is paying for a Pact, whereas our turn 4 will be playing Primeval Titan. So I'll go Forest, Azusa, Khalni Garden, Gruul Turf, pick up my Forest. So this will give me my extra land for next turn to play the old Titan out. So if we can fade an amulet out of them, we're going to have a giant parade of Titans here. And then actually, the way things end up lining up here, my first Titan, since I have so many more Titans in my hand, is actually going to get Boros Garrison plus Slayers Stronghold. So that way, the second Titan I can play next turn can attack next turn. They abraded my Azusa, sure. Oh, I'm getting Ghost Quartered. That's brutal. Yeah, the Ghost Quarter puts me pretty far behind here. Means I can't Titan next turn. Yeah, didn't really care about the Abrade. The Ghost Quarter, however, is rough. I didn't board in my Excavator. I wonder if I'm supposed to do that. Yeah, I'm probably supposed to do that just because some of these matches are going to come down to, like, Ghost Quartering each other fests. I think I hold on to the Abrade so that way I can kill an Amulet if they have one next turn. Let's, like, play this land and pass. There's no point in Ghost Quartering them because Ghost Quarter is my 6 mana for next turn, which is ideal. Yeah, if they have Excavator here, I actually just, like, lose. I guess I could Abrade it. So I got that going for me. They have 2 cards in their hand, so there's still the question of, do they have a Titan? I assume they have a Titan of some sort. because they played this Tolaria West, and if they didn't have a Titan, they could have held the Tolaria West to transmute to base find a pack to find a Titan. It would have been a little bit slow, but yep. I feel like this mirror match is just like the first one to put a green guy on the table is going to win. I'm trying to think of like a series of plays that like gets me back in here. And I'm not sure that that series of plays exists for me. It's like my Titans are basically just going to start getting thrown underneath their Titans and like trades, and like they're going to keep getting. I guess the fact that I have like Trip Titan in my hand right now could be like my saving grace, because like if they don't have just a bunch of like natural Titans in their hand here, they could eventually like slow down a little bit and like not have enough mana where I just like could keep playing 6 mana Titans, especially since I have 2 naturally, and like I'm not gonna have to pay for summoners packs either. Like they're gonna need to pay for summoners packs and pay for so what I'm searching for, they're gonna have to pay for summoners pact, and they're gonna have to pay for transmuting most likely. Alright, big green guy, I choose you. And then actually, the same thing that kind of came up last game, because I just have this Titan naturally in my hand here, I get to do this, and actually, I'm going to get a... This could actually be what break serves for us here, like talking about it. I get to get Boros Garrison and Slayers Stronghold here, and what this does for me is it makes it so next turn, I can play this Titan and give it haste and like attack with 2 Titans next turn, which might be enough. Well, I guess, am I attacking with 2? I might trade with their Titan here and like play an attack with my other one next turn. So like this is going to be transmute for Titan, obviously. Unless they have some other cheeky thing that's good here. I suppose if they have Hornet Queen here, that's pretty good. Oh, they have an amulet that I know about. Yeah, I don't know that I really had anything. They have amulets, so you get to like attack me with 2 Titans instead. Yeah, alright. Like, I don't really have an option to play around that, because like even if I like hold up the engineered explosives to crack there, I'm like still getting hit by their Titan in play, and like the only way I can hold up engineered explosives to crack there is not playing my own Titans. Like I'm losing to the Titan that they already have in play, basically, which is unfortunate. You could maybe argue that these spell piercers are better on the play, but I think I'd rather just be as proactive as possible on the play rather than trying to interact with whatever it is my opponent's doing. I would love to play first. Thank you for asking. This hand is really good. This is the type of linear nonsense that we would really like to have on the play, so God bless. I get to play Tribe Scout here. This is just like turn 3 attack with the Titan, right? Sure. Take all the time to demonic tutor that you need, opponent. So we'll go Amulet into Khalni Garden, into Tribe Scout, the Growth Chamber, play Azusa. If we draw a second Amulet, we can actually attack with the Titan on turn 2. Modern is fair and balanced. And then I think I want to end with the bounce land in my hand here, right? So it doesn't get... I guess if they have Ghost Quarter, they could just hold it up anyways. But, like, obviously I won't have enough mana next turn without having a bounce land as, like, a ritual, effectively. So let's play that and pass here. So I had 2 more land drops there, which makes 4 mana, so that's not enough to play Primeval Titan. So they could have a Abrade here to kill my Amulet, which would put us behind. Smells like interaction. Rude. Yep. So want to draw an Amulet or more lands here. So now we just put this into play and pick this up and put it back down again. I'm just looking to draw a land next turn. So the putting the bounce land into play lets us play Titan if we draw an untapped land next turn or a Keru. It, however, does not let us put the Titan into play if we draw an Amulet, but there's like way more untapped lands and bounce lands in our deck than there are just like 3 more copies of Amulet. So the statistically correct play is definitely like play the bounce land to give ourselves the best possible chance of having a turn 4 Titan. All right, opponent, what you got? What you got? What you got? What you got? Do 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 do. Sure. So they must have a bounce land since they're casting this off the Gemstone Mine. Yeah, makes sense. All right, untapped land or bounce land, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. And then this one's going to go ahead and get Boros Garrison plus Slayers Stronghold because for the 3rd game in a row, we're just like blessed and have a second Titan naturally in hand, which is great for us. So I'm actually going to... No, I'm a liar. I was say I could pick up a bounce land here and like be cute and protect my land from a Ghost Quarter by like having the bounce land, but that actually doesn't make sense because I need the lands untapped so I can cast the Titan and activate next turn. So next turn I will pay, you know, my 6 and then opponent concedes. All right, God bless. The Amulet mirror match, like many mirror matches in Modern, does not seem particularly interesting. Just you get behind very quickly, and over as the first Titan kind of runs away with the game. As far as this list goes, I don't think 5 matches is good enough to like determine whether or not the Trinket Mages are better than the Adventurous Impulses. Like, again, both these cards give consistency in different ways. They find different things. So, like, the question is, like, do you want more consistency on finding your amulets faster, or do we want more consistency on finding our amulets faster, or do we want more consistency on finding our bounce lands and our Primeval Titans? And honestly, I feel my gut says that I want more Titans rather than more amulets, but people who are much smarter than me, like Ayers and Edgar, have been playing and they like Trinket Mage, so I think it's definitely worth trying if you are interested in getting a feel for all the different iterations of Amulet that exist out there. Also, if you're playing Amulet and you want to play a more linear version, that's more combo heavy, I definitely recommend checking out the Through the Breach versions that we've played in the past with Spine Rock Knoll. Like that Storm matchup that we lost in this league, I think that was a great example of if I would have had access to the Spine Rock Knoll Through the Breach version, I would have had a better chance there, I think, by a lot. Any rate, that's going to be it for me for Amulet Titan for today. And remember, if you like this YouTube-only content, if you dislike this YouTube-only content, let me know in the comment section down below. Remember to like the video, smash that bell for notifications and all that other jazz. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll be back with live stuff on Twitch tomorrow or Tuesday at the latest. Thanks for hanging out.